Good evening, Otafest listeners, and welcome to the newest episode. Wait, no. Completely wrong thing. Hello, Otafest listeners.
Wrong season.
Welcome to the newest episode of the Otafest podcast.
Hello.
It's season 8, episode 20, episode 208. Those are all numbers that are all together, and they're all the same kind of numbers. 8, 0, and 2. Interesting. With me, I have a Nancy, and Angelo, and myself, a Jay.
A Jay?
Yeah.
Which self is my self?
We are all self.
We are the self.
Interesting.
There is one self, the podcast self.
Indeed.
Self-cast.
The host. We are the host self.
We need to get off this existential dread and on to some announcements.
Hey lovers, your friendly neighborhood Seth here, interrupting with a very special announcement. We are so pleased to announce our 25th anniversary keynote event, the Silver Stars Masquerade Ball. Dance the evening away, share some delightful anecdotes of 25 years worth of shenanigans, and fill up a time capsule with our dearest wishes for the future to be opened at Otafest's 50th anniversary. Not sure how to ballroom dance? No worries. We'll have volunteers on hand to teach you the basics. Dress code is cosplay or semi-formal, whatever that means to you. Being a masquerade, masks are encouraged. The more grandiose and fancier, the better. We'll have prizes for best dressed and most marvelous mask, among others. And now, back to the podcast crew, and thanks for listening.
Otafest Sketch Drive applications are now open from January 16th to February 26th. Come be a part of this beloved little corner of the festival. Get your application in today. And get your AMV contest submissions in for prizes, for glory, for a rip-roaring good time.
Speaking of which, we're halfway through our panelist application period. Deadline is February 5th. Share a topic you are passionate about with your community. As always, panelists with one accepted panel are entitled to a 50% discounted weekend pass to Otafest for themselves and an assistant. 2 accepted panels means the panelist and the assistant are entitled to a free weekend pass. Find additional information via otafest.com. That's all the announcements we have for right now. There's a lot going on, though. Expect more and more to be coming. We're just scheduling them up. You'll see them blasted across our socials. You'll hear them here. So keep your eyes and ears open. If only we had tactile announcements. And I don't mean in Braille. I mean like...
Soon.
Yeah.
Percussive announcements.
We'll do VR announcements. And then you can... They're starting to make like tactile glove controls.
It's actually pretty interesting. There's like a completely open source project that's doing that with like a little electric motor per finger and like threads or zip ties or things of that nature to like pull your finger back and give it like force.
Ooh.
Linus Tech Tips had a video about it, I want to say like a year and a half ago. It's been a little while. But I keep seeing like new versions of this thing pop up and it's just so interesting. But I haven't played VR in like 6 months.
I mean, VR always was like, we've talked about VR like a billion times. It's not even on like the docket of stuff that we need to talk about.
No.
But like, I think it's so weird that there was such a big push and it's still like ongoing. Like it's clearly established itself as a gaming medium, but it's developed a lot slower now. Like they stopped putting money into it. And when I mean I mean like the big 3, I guess. Sony, Valve, Facebook. Only Facebook's kind of into it, but everyone just kind of laughs at them because of
Microsoft
their meta
has
ideas.
Entirely gutted their augmented reality and virtual reality segments. So Microsoft is basically out of the game.
Yikes.
Facebook is trying, but John Carmack has fucked off. John Carmack, the single most the largest driving force behind virtual reality, behind Oculus Rift, is gone. He is no longer with Oculus. He is no longer with Meta. And his criticisms of Meta were scathing. Valve?
Now would
They
be
tend to be.
now would be an ideal time for Gaben to strike up conversation with him.
Oh, absolutely. That would be amazing. Valve is basically doing what they're doing, which is being a black box that takes money in through Steam sales and every now and then just presents an egg to the community. And it's up to the community to do a thing. Who knows what'll happen? Maybe Steam Deck 2 will have VR built in. I doubt it. But
all I know is I think I heard recently, although I haven't actually verified it with any like research about it, is that they are like apparently the Steam Deck in some sense is going to be VR capable, or is VR capable, I should say, because it's an existing product, which I think would be very interesting.
There's nothing stopping you from plugging like a Valve Index or the HTC Vive into it, except that it would be a legitimately shitty experience. It is not powerful enough for VR, just straight up. But the hardware, technically capable.
They mentioned it. They mentioned they wanted to be able to integrate it well. So I don't know. I don't know.
We'll
I didn't keep my Steam Deck. I don't have VR.
Are you going to rebuy your Steam Deck next year then?
No. I see no reason to.
That's what you said about other consoles.
The Switch.
Yes. Yes, but the difference is between the Steam Deck and my PC still exists, and there's still lots of things you can't access that are Nintendo-centric, because Nintendo really does have a monopoly on their IPs.
It's true.
And you can, so they're the only real exclusive out there.
It's true. But you know, sometimes you just gotta wait for the IPs to get old enough. And it's kind of like old movies in a way where if you wait long enough, it shows up again and it just blindsides you in a way that you hadn't thought of in ages. So I am talking about Old Boy.
Old Boy.
Old Boy is an absolute classic of Korean cinema. I feel like a lot of people have heard of it. I feel like most people... No. Many weebs may have watched it if it's on the radar. But a lot of people might only know of it and just leave it off to the side.
Well, Old Boy was also a manga.
Was it actually? I didn't actually realize it was a manhwa.
Yes, that's why people know it.
But so I have not thought that much of Old Boy since I saw it back in college for the first time. So it's been about 15 years since I saw it. And
It's
then
been 84 years.
Dio sends me a DM 2 weeks ago saying that Old Boy is playing at the Globe. Do I want to go see it with a couple of our friends? And I thought, just hell yeah. Why wouldn't I? It's been years since I've seen it. So she bought the ticket. The days came, and Dio and I went to the Globe. I've never actually been to the Globe before. It is kind of cozy, kind of quaint. And I was able to buy beers to watch during Old Boy, which that was a good decision. Because holy moly, out of every scene in Old Boy, I forgot the most fucked up shit. I really did.
I'm now wondering if... Okay, so I haven't seen Old Boy. I've also not read the manga. I know a very loose premise around it.
So,
would it be better for me to experience this 100% sober, or should I have a strong beer under my belt by then?
I would say have something that you can sip along to while you watch it. The rough beats of the story are this drunk guy gets kidnapped off the streets and imprisoned for 15 years.
Oof.
Once he gets out after 15 years, he is looking for who imprisoned him, and he wants revenge. Now, there is a lot of bullshit that goes on. There are some things that are definitely not good for certain audiences, so viewer discretion advised.
Oh, geez.
But it is a movie to drink during. Having a beer under my belt when he started prying someone's teeth out with a hammer.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It's that kind of movie. It's that kind of movie.
All right. See, when the premise was described to me the first time I ever heard about it, I was like, okay, that sounds like it could be the makings of like an interesting action flick. I was wrong. Apparently this is about removing teeth.
It is.
By hand.
Dentistry, the movie.
Oh, yes.
Amateur Dentistry, the movie.
Amateur Dentistry with a Home Depot hammer. It can't get more real than that.
Y'all can't see my face right now, but I'm making a very disturbed face.
Yeah,
I think most people would be at this time.
If you watched Old Boy...
So moving on from that.
Oh, Jesus. That got dark.
But
we don't need to keep focusing on that one part.
It was crazy how I've definitely seen this movie. It was a long time ago, but there was only 4 scenes that I actively remembered. There was a scene of him shadowboxing in his prison hotel room. There is a scene of him at a sushi restaurant. There is the legendary fight scene that's shot almost like it's Street Fighter. And there's one that's just, right. There is the scene that reveals the twist, which obviously, I'm not going to say that. So I visually remembered maybe 5 minutes out of a 3-hour movie. And it's a movie that I liked, a movie that I really enjoyed. And that just blows my mind that after 15 years, watching it again, I realized that I barely remembered any of it.
I felt very similarly after watching Scott Pilgrim in theaters. And this was right around the age where I think I finally came to acceptance of the fact that I really needed glasses. Because
I did not expect that.
because I watched Scott Pilgrim in theater. It was great. It was amazing. It was funny. It was, Canadian. It had video game culture in it. It was super relatable because you're kind of at that age where you're also trying to figure yourself out and trying to figure out painful things that are hard but necessary.
Trying to earn the power of self-respect.
Indeed. Which is apparently greater than the power of love. And so, imagine my surprise when, 9 years later, I watched it on a TV at home, and I go, I don't remember any of these. Are these the same effects that they used in the theater? Because I don't remember these. And they're like, yeah. Oh God, Nancy really needed glasses when she was, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's weird how a visual medium might be enjoyed with clarity.
Yes.
Visual clarity and acuity.
But even
Jay, don't you
jokes.
understand? Nancy was living life with the CRT filter. She was living life on 360p.
That is 100%
she was lo-fi.
true.
She was lo-fi before lo-fi was cool.
That was lo-fi without corrective lenses to help me bring it up to even 720.
Yeah. Nancy just decided to stop being a hipster and just live it with high def.
It's okay. Eventually, I got my laser eyes, and now they're way better.
Nice.
Yeah, laser eyes are nice.
As Jay can attest.
I just don't, it's nice not to think about them.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know how to describe it.
It's an entire category of concern that I no longer have to worry about. I don't have to go get new ones every 2 years. I don't have to
go to the eye doc.
Contacts. Well, you still got to go to an eye doctor. Don't. But
no, not like not an eye doctor, but it's not like the optometrist part so much as it is just testing for, I can tell if my vision is sharp. You know what I mean?
Yes, significantly so compared to the rest of my life. But Yeah, I also don't have to go and be like, oh, I'm almost out of contacts. Gotta go get refills.
I was thinking about this literally 2 days ago, where I was thinking, like, I don't really remember what it was like to not be able to see without glasses. Like, I don't remember what blurriness looks like. And that doesn't really make sense. Like, yes, you could look at a blurry picture, but like to have your world be blurry and then like, well, if you're like nearsighted, like I was, for example, so like, you know, I could see something about a foot away and it'd be an okay focus, but everything else beyond that is kind of like pretty meh. Like, and just being your entire world if you didn't have your glasses with you or they broke or some other thing. It was just, I don't really remember the dependency, I guess.
Even though we lived with it for most of our lives.
Yeah, I've only had it for 3 years at this point, and
memory is
the 20
a funny
years
thing.
before that was all glasses.
Yeah, memory is
Damn.
a funny thing.
As someone
So,
who
Angelo
never thinks
telling
about
me
their
that-
eyes, this shit is thoroughly good.
It's
Well-
like it's like a fever dream or something. Like it's just strange. It's just strange. I don't know how to describe it, but I am grateful for it anyways. Good
That's fair.
decision.
Mm-hmm.
If you can
But
afford
yeah.
it, do it.
But yeah, Angelo telling me that his memory of a movie from years and years ago, between that and like recently having rewatched it, I am not surprised in the least
I mean,
that it was such a jarring remembering and also revisiting, re-experiencing the thing for the first time again.
I was going to try to make an analogy to show the absurdity of not remembering that much, and I was going to be like, well, what about the time? What about The Land Before Time? How much of that do you remember? I loved that movie. I remember absolutely nothing of it.
Nope, I remember nothing
Yeah.
of it. I remember Sarah being annoying.
Are you sure it was
That's about
Sarah
it.
being annoying or Ducky, the little green one that looked like a frog?
Let's be honest. It's a kids movie. There's a lot of annoying characters.
True.
True.
They're not exactly the most developed and like story progressing type of writing for these characters. You know.
That said, I also don't remember any story that would have happened during Care Bears. So, you know, I knew that
there's
there
lot
was a
of kids
Shrieky,
movies. Yeah.
and that was about it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Beastly? Was her sidekick's name Beastly? I can't remember.
I want to watch. There's like 4 or 5 movies that I've wanted to rewatch just to, because I don't watch movies a lot. I repeat this and I repeat it ad infinitum. That there, but I do have some binge times that I want to get back into, like not watching new movies either, just watching like a few good movies I haven't seen in a while. Like I haven't seen Pulp Fiction in a while, one of my favorites. I haven't seen RoboCop, the original one, which was not a good movie for kids, but that was my favorite movie growing up as like a 7-year-old.
Oh
because
my God.
my parents let me watch it because they were tricked. Well, this is, you know, we were raised in the 90s and the 80s was before that, and they marketed toys
Yeah,
for
you know
this
what?
extremely violent movie. So then parents would be like, it's got toys. You could probably watch it.
I absolutely
Yeah, I
remember
remember
that there were so many RoboCop action figures everywhere.
Yeah.
There were.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I
There
had
were.
one or a friend of mine had one, and I'd
I
never
had-
seen the movie until I was already a teenager, and I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah,
They
I had like
marketed
the
this to
12
kids?
inch. I had like the
12
12 inch,
Inch.
like RoboCop toy where you could press the abdomen and he would do the voices, and then he could open up the thigh and he would have his big, giant revolver thingy.
Oh
It's
my.
very cool. It
Oh
was
Nice.
very cool, but very violent for a 8 to 10-year-old at best.
Yeah,
Maybe even 6.
a little
or
bit
7.
much. A little bit
Yeah.
much.
Look
Just
at
a
how well
little.
adjusted I am now.
Mm.
So, let's see. Spider-Verse. I want to rewatch Into the Spider-Verse. The new movie's coming out this
the
year.
new movie's coming
Oh,
out.
yeah, I
so you
wanna
gotta
rewatch
rewatch
that
the
too.
old one before the new one. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta do that.
I want to rewatch. I only kind of want to do this, but I want to rewatch Detective Pikachu, just because I watched it in theater, which is like fine, and I don't think it's a great movie necessarily to rewatch. It's a fun movie. It doesn't make it a great movie. But I want to rewatch it because I want to be able to sit at home and sort of like almost like freeze frame parts, because there's a lot of Easter eggs that you're gonna see, like all the all the street signs or the names of like some kind of Pokemon thing or some other reference. So things like that. Just want to get into.
I see.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
I've been watching the basically since they rebooted Doctor Who. So we started at Eccleston and we've just been going forward. We have just reached the end of the Matt Smith era. And yeah, I have always had friends who were super into Doctor Who, made Doctor Who jokes all the time, talked about who their favorite companions were, and none of that ever clicked. It's like when someone tells you that, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, that was a spoiler for something, and you completely forget it because you have no context for the spoiler, so it doesn't matter. That's
I was
what
one
it
of those people for a long time. I was into Doctor Who until the end of Matt Smith, basically. And I don't think I'll get back into it, though, at this point.
So, I have, years and years ago, I watched the Eccleston era. So I knew Rose Tyler, and that was the only era that I really ever knew. And then I stopped. So, Doctor Who-isms aren't really super alien to me. Forgive the term. That wasn't supposed to be a pun, but it came out that way. But it just, I never got into it. And I never, fully understood the characters, the background, the references, the repeating appearances of, certain enemies, I just never really got it until now that I've actually watched all the way through seasons, what are we at the end of now? 7? Jeez. So, similar. Kind of. It's like knowing about something and actually watching it. They're two completely different things.
Yeah.
True. I still sort of tangentially keep up with Doctor Who in the same way that I've described before, where I Wikipedia Naruto and I Wikipedia Dragon Ball Super, and now I just sort of Wikipedia Doctor Who as well. There are things where I essentially, there's a period of time where I've dipped my I don't even want to say toe, because that's gonna I've seen quite a bit, but then I just got out of it. So I went knee deep, and then now I'm out of it, but I'd still like to keep up just enough. I don't want to be able to have a conversation about it, but I want to know that things are kind of still have a good time. You know what I mean?
I just dipped my toe, says Jay as he emerges from the water, dripping from head to toe.
Yeah, I just be like, but I'm never going into that water again.
He says, actively diving back into the water.
Sure.
But it is
I can't swim,
similar.
he says.
It's very similar to anything where you've experienced the memes of it first before watching something.
Ah, yeah, that's a mood.
Right?
That was me going into the 300 movie eons ago.
Or me watching Ragnarok for the first time, and I'm like, oh, that's Aphrodite. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
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 Oh, man.
Oh.
But you know what? That really reminds me of
Oh.
not having one kind of food for a really long time and then having it again. It's like rediscovering a love for good food.
Yes. Yes.
And that's exactly what I expect to experience tomorrow when we go for KBBQ.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
the last time I had KBBQ was with you guys last year in the summer sometime.
Oh my God. That's right. When we
has
went,
been.
the last time that we went, you weren't available to go.
I was not.
That's right. That's
And
right. I
therefore,
remember now.
I had to miss it.
So you, Dio, and
it has
I
been-
went to Callan, and then me, Dio, and Jay went to KBBQ later that night.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, that was
So-
a good day.
Tomorrow, I expect to rediscover why I love KBBQ exactly so much.
It's so good. Just the smells of all the meat as it cooks. Being
I can.
able to...
I'm literally I'm someone who can imagine like flavors, and I'm a very visual person. I'm basically already there right now. Okay, as we talk about it, like I can smell the meat. I can smell. Oh, remember? Because of the place we're going, they have the nice grilled onions that we had from last time.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just don't want the salad, the
Yes.
The sad
the whatever
salad.
lettuce, the sad lettuce that they gave us last time.
So there's two different places that we like to go to. One is Gogi, and the place that we're going to be going to is Seoul BBQ. Gogi usually has like proper romaine leaves for your lettuce wrap to build yourself a nice like some rice, some kimchi,
robust
some
wrap.
meat, a nice robust wrap.
Appropriately sized. It's the size of 2 of my palms, which makes exact sense when you think about how much you need for a lettuce wrap.
And then in the previous KBBQ adventure that I was just mentioning, we went to Seoul instead, and while the meats were amazing, the lettuce wraps were scarcely a wrap at all. There was maybe in the whole bin 2 or 3 lettuce pieces that you could actually use to wrap, and the rest of them were almost like shredded lettuce or like garden greens or things of that nature,
like salad lettuce,
like arugula or something. Imagine trying to make a lettuce wrap with arugula.
Arugula would be tasty, but it is not a wrap material.
Exactly. It's a garnish to the wrap.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man.
So yeah, we're. It's not like we're never go back if like the wraps were weird again, because the meat really is good. But like, imagine it's just so weird that like the letdown is because the vegetation is what's letting us down. Yeah,
the vegetable vehicle to the mouth.
Yeah, because the thing is, the wrap is important. If I wanted to just ham fist the cooked meat into my mouth, I could do that, but I don't want to. I want there to be a nice cellulose barrier in between.
It adds that textural difference. You get
the crisp, the crunch,
rich meat and the crunchy lettuce all in the same bite. It's
crunch.
Oh,
yeah.
So I have to ask.
Oh, I'm there right now.
So I have to ask: is the smoke situation nearly as bad as Gogi?
No, because it's so much bigger than Gogi.
They
it's
also have
literally
lots of big overhead hood fans.
Yes, it's approximately 2.5 times the size of Gogi for sure. They space out. They space out better. Yes, the ceilings are actually higher a little bit. And this is like, this sounds like we're just like crapping on Gogi's like physical locations.
Though.
Like, no,
it's so
it is
tasty.
just like, yeah, it's just the venue. That's what
purely asking for like just expectations. Like, do I need to leave my coat in the car when I come in tomorrow?
Why would you leave the coat in the car? Because then it gets in, it marinades in the meaty smoke, and then as you're walking out, you can just put the coat around.
Because
your
she
face.
has a husband. She doesn't need to attract any more men. With the smoky meat perfume.
Fair.
If someone so Angelo and I have been exchanging colognes for like, the better part of a couple of years now. Every now and again, I'll find like something I really like, and I think that Angelo would also really like, and I will tell him, hey, I think this one will make you smell like a lumberyard and with a sprinkling of vanilla in the background somewhere. So when I say, if someone made a cologne that was the exact replica of smoky bulgogi being cooked over an open flame on cast iron,
she's the one.
That's the one. That's the one for Angelo.
She's
That's
the
gonna
one.
be that will be his signature smell forever.
You say that. Back when I was in high school and college, anytime we would have like a bonfire at someone's house, my jacket would always get that nice woodsy smoky campfire smell, and it was the best. It lingered for like a
some
week.
people don't like, some people understandably don't like the sort of like ashy fire smell.
People don't
like
I
think
smell
it's just an
of
overtime.
carcinogens? How dare they?
So there was a recent article I read where they did some research, and they're saying that there's some initial indication that burnt food isn't necessarily carcinogenic. It's just burnt food.
Really?
Really? I guess that's just like one of those things we gotta wait another 20 years for.
Are you
No,
just
I
saying
haven't even
this so
figured
that
out
we
if
can
like
argue?
wine and alcohol or eggs or coffee, like those are like always the ongoing, like, are they actually healthy? Will this egg become a heart attack? You know?
Yep. But like, okay,
pretty
going back
sure.
to the whole, do I need to leave my coat in the car? There was the last time we were there. You know those little coat hooks that they have, like
Yeah.
kind of all around Gogi.
Oh yeah.
When we were getting ready to leave, Sean rested his hand on one because he needed like to grab onto something to like get himself up out of those tiny chairs, and he realized to his horror immediately after touching it that it was like that sticky grease smoke that had accumulated over who knows how long, and like these are on
His
like
coat got glazed.
it was just like all over his palm, and he was like, I don't know what to do with this now. I can't touch anything with my left hand for a bit.
Nice.
And you know, another point to that is that it's fine. I kind of expect it in a place like Gogi. But if I can help it, I just won't bring my coat in, because A, I don't want my coat hanging on a coat hanger, and B, I also don't want like extraneous greasy smokes just sort of getting into it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I guess.
It's, you know, I understand. I'm okay eating there. I love eating there. I just will opt to keep certain items of clothing outside of the restaurant.
True. Yeah, that's fair. Honestly, I don't think that you would have to worry about it at Sill, but
I don't think
if you're
so.
worried,
if they're still
then
the
just leave
same
the
as they
coat in
used
the
to
car.
be.
Angelo.
What's that?
Pork jowl.
Yes. So the way
You
that
didn't know, but we introduced you.
yes.
Oh.
So the
is
way that
so?
pork belly is adult bacon,
Yes.
pork jowl is complex bacon.
Oh. I
That
can see
is
that.
that is what I learned. I had no idea going in there the first time. There was pork jowl on the menu, and I'd never had it before. I was like, what kind of meat is that even? I understand what part of the pig it's from. It says right
Good
there.
meat.
But I've never had it before. What's it like? So we were a little bit conservative about it. I think we only ordered 1 or 2 portions of that, and that was a mistake.
Immediately recognizes that was a mistake.
Imagine something with the flavor profile of like pork belly, but with the meatiness of a good pork chop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not
I'm
as
very excited.
fatty as bacon, but it's as
I'm going
good.
to tell you right now. That I am literally on their website just looking at pictures of meat.
I thought you said
I've been-
you could
Yeah, and then I
imagine the
decided I want to,
taste.
and then I decided that I wanted to look at it even more.
Ah, yes.
Mm.
I am a
The only
savant.
thing
I can imagine
thing
the
you're-
meat right now. I can see it in front of me, says the man
the only
clicking
thing
through their
you're
website.
missing again,
Yeah.
the only thing you're missing is the tactile sense of it, because you've got your visual, you can imagine to fill in the smell and the taste. You're just missing the tactile feel of it, just like with
And
our
the
senses.
flavor.
One of
Oh,
the
the flavor.
other things that I will give to Goji over Seoul is that with Goji, you just walk up and go get like more rice, more kimchi,
Your side dishes.
all the
yeah.
sides. Whereas at
God, I
Seoul,
love their
Yeah.
kimchi.
you have to
it's
flag
so
someone
good.
down and be like, "We need more of this." No, you don't understand. Not just one. We need like 5 more of this.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
5 of each thing, please.
But then on the other side, Seoul does have like, they have a bigger menu.
Yes.
They have way more stuff we can choose. Oh, that's right. We can get mushrooms.
We
Oh my
can.
god!
We'll
And we can get
mushrooms.
croquette. They have yam croquettes.
Yes,
Oh,
the
we
yam
shall
croquettes.
Oh gosh, I'm looking forward to tomorrow even more.
Oh my
now.
god, can it be tomorrow or today?
I wish.
It will be in about 5 hours.
Yes.
I
Yes.
guess.
Yes.
Sorry, listeners, if we're just making you super hungry. Sorry, not sorry.
sorry, not sorry, but also to be expected because we talk about food pretty much every episode.
We just want that infinite meat. We just want to fuse the pork belly with the jowl, with the bulgogi, with the proper lettuce wrap, with the rice, with the kimchi. We want something crazy like that. But
You know,
the ROM hacking
okay.
community has us covered.
It's not a ROM hack.
What do you mean it's not a
I
ROM
put
hack?
it on here.
Pokemon Infinite Fusions isn't a ROM hack?
Technically not. Like there's two categories of game. Well, yeah, I guess in my I threw you off the scent because I wrote mod in here.
So I am
It's
very
not-
out of the loop
It's
then.
not technically a mod.
Enlighten me. Enlighten me
so
to Pokemon Infinite
I've talked about like
Fusions.
Kaizo and other stuff. I just play like a lot of weird randomizer stuff, and I watch a lot of weird gameplay of Pokemon. But there are two categories of like games when it comes to Pokemon fan works. There's mods, which is like what a Kaizo or randomizer is like, where generally speaking, you have access to a game file in some way. I don't know how
Where
one would
you-
have obtained
Where
such
you
a thing.
dump your own ROM from the flash
Yes.
cart to your PC, and then you use
Exactly.
a specific hex editor to change the ones and zeros and A's and the F's to make the game different.
and you essentially append maybe a patch or something like that. You can Google it, go look for it.
Yeah.
The other types are essentially they aren't based off of just the initial ROM, or well, they are obviously, but like they rebuild the entire like game, so you have a separate like exe file, for example.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's not emulated in a sense.
That's very interesting then. Okay.
So Infinite Fusion follows that. The reason why it's fun, so it's a very ambitious project. There's two reasons why. Number one, I don't know what the range of Pokemon is. I think it goes from like Gen 1 to like Gen 5.
All right.
Maybe, or Gen 6, something like that. So up to at least Black and White, I know that for sure. So they have like a wide range of Pokemon, and they fuse all the sprites together. You can have the regular, like you can encounter a Rattata, but you can also encounter a Rattata that's fused with the Pikachu, for example.
Yes.
And but it's not just like a lot of people who are fans of like Pokemon, they know about like the fusion stuff, because there's a couple websites out there that already do the fusions. For this particular project, they actually have had people do custom sprite work so that it's integrated looking. It's not just like, I've slapped Mewtwo's face onto Arcanine's body. Like, they have legitimately made really cool sprite art.
That's what I've heard of it. And like as a pixel artist myself, that just was mind-blowing.
There are over 176,000 combinations of Pokemon, and there's a crap load of really cool pixel art.
Now,
of like they haven't done 176,000
custom
unique pixel arts yet.
Pixel arts, yeah.
But they're getting there.
That's actually amazing. I kind of love that. But
Yeah.
so correct me if I'm wrong. I actually know very little about Infinite Fusions. My understanding is that you can fuse any two Pokemon together. So if you've got a Ho-Oh, and you can combine it with a Magnemite if you want, and you get a new Pokemon basically. Who knows what it looks like?
Yes. So there's
Can you
two.
then
So it's a component.
Go and combine that combined Pokemon to another combined Pokemon?
No, that's too powerful. It's too much.
Okay. That's fair.
You can't do that. But what you can do is, so basically every fusion has two possibilities. There's a head component and the body component. So let's say you take Bulbasaur and Charmander. there's a component. There's a fusion that's Bulbasaur head, Charmander body. That's the style of it. And then there's the flip fusion where it's Charmander head, Bulbasaur body.
Yeah. Now,
So there's two different kinds for each one, and then just like the resulting like stats and move sets are all combined. It's pretty cool.
evolution work in the same way? Like, if I have a Bulbasaur Charmander fusion, does it evolve into an Ivysaur Charmeleon fusion?
I believe so. It just depends on which like head and body setup you've put in.
Fair enough.
And there's some really, really cool ones that, again, especially when they do the sprite art, it's like when it's custom, it's like really, really interesting. There are ones that are absolutely cursed, of course, as well, which I think is hilarious. I'm trying to find a gallery to share with you guys on Discord just to take a look. But here's a really cute one.
While trying to think of what a Bulbasaur Charmander fusion would be named, I came up with what is possibly the best name for if we ever wanted to open a KBBQ place.
Oh?
We should call it Charbq.
Oh.
Ah.
And we could barbecue Pokemon.
Original idea. Do not steal.
Let's go. Let's have the Miltank steaks and
Let's
the
go
spoik jowl.
get that adult bacon and shape it like Charmander.
That does also remind me, you can actually merge two of the same Pokemon.
Oh my god.
So I've posted in the Discord here, the last picture, the bottom right is a muck mixed with another muck.
Oh, that's cursed.
Oh lord.
Oh, that's cursed.
I can only
I'm pretty sure. No, actually, I'm pretty sure that's the one. But there's a few that are cursed. You can see there's a Victory Bell that's also a Dodrio. That one's pretty bad. Anything that doesn't necessarily normally have eyes and then gets fused with something that should have eyes is always pretty weird looking.
Pretty messed up.
But yeah, I just like, Pokemon's almost like a 30-year-old franchise at this point. There's a lot of new stuff that they try, but at the end of the day, they won't go into certain directions creatively. It's always cool to see that the community will pop up with something new.
Exactly. And because there's just that vaguest, most slim separation between Nintendo and Pokemon, there aren't immediate lawsuits involved.
No. Part of it is, of course, as well as, they don't ask for money, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Not made for profits.
I've actually been
Check
playing
a
a different Pokemon ROM hack. I've been playing Moemon Heart Gold.
Moemon. I love Moemon.
Tell me
It's
more.
wonderful. So the whole concept of Moemon is it is literally Pokemon, but they replace the Pokemon with cute girls.
Of course they do.
And,
It's called
and
Moemon.
that's it.
It's not all cute girls. There are some cute boys.
Sometimes.
It's just about cute. Cute
As long as it's still
and
Moe.
cute anthropomorphized Pokemon.
And so
they've been anthropomorphized.
the
Okay.
first time that I played Moemon was back in like 2009, give or take. And it wasn't a very mature project back then. Moemon Heart Gold is much further than it ever was before.
Yes.
Like, not only the Pokemon aren't all just made variants. There's a lot of variety now. Like, Geodude almost looks like a golem, which Geodude
I posted
evolves
photos.
into. But there's like Totodile, almost looks like a little goblin with like a spear, and it's still a cute girl, but it's like a feral cute girl, and I love that. That's great.
And the thing we were talking about, like custom sprites, all of Moemon is custom sprites, and they're like very heavy into it. We're not just talking about front sprites, like where you
also
normally
get the
see a
back
Pokemon during an
sprites?
encounter. They do the back sprites, they do
Yeah.
the evolutions, they do the alternate forms that some Pokemon may have. They're all about it. I'm on the Discord. It's insane how much cool pixel art comes out of it.
Although
Dang,
the
that's pretty
one
cool.
thing about Moemon Heart Gold that's been getting to me is that they make the trainer battles more difficult generally. They increase the levels a little bit. Sometimes they add extra Moemon just so that people can see more Moemon in the game.
Yeah.
This has been the most apparent in the gym battles. I remember going through Pokemon Gold eons ago, and the first two gyms were kind of a cakewalk, and then of course there'd be Whitney's gym with the mill tanks and the rollout, and that's PTSD that I don't want to get into. But then I'm playing
Yeah.
Moemon, and the first gym battle, they've got like multiple level 16 Pokemon that are just extremely powerful, and the highest level thing that you can grind around is like level 7.
Oof.
So I had to do a lot of grinding to get past the first gym. And then the second gym rolls around. They have like a level 22 Scyther and a level 26 Caesar, and these turned into like
Level
raid bosses for me.
2026.
In the second gym. I legitimately
Yeah.
had to grind for like 6 hours just to get to my Pokemon up to a level where I could beat the second gym. And then I got to the third gym, the one that I was
And then you
dreading.
died.
I didn't prepare at all. I walked in and I got through it first time. Their mill tank never even tried to roll out. Something about
Damn.
Heart Gold versus regular gold, they really nerfed Whitney. The casual filter was gone.
Yeah, she wasn't gatekeeping you anymore.
She wasn't gatekeeping me anymore, which I'm glad about that. God, I was not looking forward to that. But I'm having a really fun time with it, all things considered. It's just such a good game.
That's
The
good.
interesting thing about Moemon is because it's only a sprite swap, it is compatible with other mods. Because it's only graphical in nature, generally. Well, I guess there's two. I think there's two applications of the patch. There is a gameplay related patch, but there is most of it's just a sprite swap. So you can use the cute Moemons while also doing a randomizer, for example.
Sometimes. The one thing you have to worry about, something like Moemon Fire Red, they do implement new features. Like they have Mega Evolutions in Moemon Fire Red. There is a patch for
yeah.
Heart Gold that includes some Mega Evolutions, which is really crazy. They
Mhm.
also change the appearance rates and they add extra appearances. So it is not directly just a sprite swap. Trying to add extra patches on top of it might really break things, unfortunately. But
It works for some, not all, but they do let you know generally what the compatibility is. So if you're into it, it's kind of
it
cool.
is
Into it.
very cool.
You know what's not cool?
What?
The fact that we have to end this episode.
Yeah.
We have to end
We must. The
On a
end
good
comes for us
note.
all.
for the greater
On a
good.
note.
For the greater good. I'll rewatch
The
that
greater good.
movie. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next week. There is a next week. There is a next episode. So keep on listening. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Greater goodbye.